The gossip didn't come to a head until the actual party. All of us girls were sitting at Sally's house in her front room. We dropped off our presents in a pile for her to open later. My gift was a Rick Astley tape. I loved Rick Astley and likely had the same one at home. Everything was going well until Sally left the room for some reason. It was then that Jessica decided to drop her bombshell. "I figured out what's wrong with Sally," she said conspiratorially. For me, and I'm sure for many of the other girls present, the only indication that something was wrong with Sally had come from Jessica. But Jessica's confidence in stating it meant we all had to pretend that we'd noticed something wrong with Sally too. Because we were impressionable middle schoolers, this quickly morphed into us thinking there was actually something wrong with Sally. "She's a lesbian." Everyone in the circle was shocked. Jessica had been talking smack before, sure, but it was only here at the actual party that she had dared use the word lesbian. "Yes," Jessica continued gravely, "she's that way." The evidence? Sally had sleepovers, and at the sleepovers, girls would sleep in the same bed. Which, by the way, is typically what happens at sleepovers. But the seductive power of the gossip was greater than the steady force of logical reasoning. Now, before I get into my shameful involvement in this story, let's unpack the motivations at play here. Sally had invited popular people to her birthday party, and they attended. Jessica wanted those girls to be her friends, so she started telling people that Sally liked girls in order to make us uncomfortable and not want to be around her. This also doesn't make much sense except when you remember that popularity in school doesn't work the same way it does in adulthood. In adulthood, the seas often rise together. That's what networking is all about. Your friend moves up a level and you suddenly start getting +1 invites to fashion shows. In school, it's more of a zero-sum game. Some people are chosen and their friends get left behind. Jessica saw Sally's possible ascent as immediately threatening to Jessica's own prospects. Like most of the other girls in the room, I won't speak for everyone, I was overtaken by a vague but potent outrage when I heard that Sally was allegedly a lesbian. At the first opportunity, I snuck over to the present table and took back my Rick Astley tape. When I got home, I threw it in the trash to really establish my conviction that she didn't deserve a present. A few hours later, though, I began to feel bad. Was Sally really a lesbian? And if she was, what would be wrong with that? She hadn't done anything but invite a bunch of people to her house and feed us cake and pizza. I'm pretty sure Sally never knew what happened that day, thank God. To this day, she has no idea she missed out on a sweet Rick Astley tape because of a stereotypical mean girl posturing. Because we were all mostly good people, the angels on our shoulders eventually prevailed and the gossip didn't circulate beyond the party. For days afterward, I thought about how sad I'd be if people said things about me that weren't true. I still get upset about mild professional rumors I hear about myself, and I'm talking really mild. I think I've always understood that anything I hear about extremely personal aspects of other people's personal lives, illness, divorce, pregnancy, and other potentially devastating topics shouldn't be spread. But this taught me that the reverberations of gossip can continue even if nothing actually comes of it. This is not going to be a complete lecture about the evils of gossip, and I'm not going to chastise anyone for engaging in any version of it at all. Of course gossip happens. It happens a lot. It can be fun and harmless. When I worked in politics, where tensions are high and people are always having affairs, gossip was particularly rampant. We all enjoy a good gossip session, and often it can be harmless. A way to let off steam, to compare notes. You can even learn something from gossip. The kernels of truth are usually there. Though not always, and you can't afford to assume. Sometimes, gossip even works as a way for those with less power to work around those who have more and may use it unfairly. And gossip as an adult is obviously very different from the ruthless rumor-mongering most of us engaged in school. Adults are savvier, more careful with their secrets. Well, sometimes. Sometimes they're much, much less careful. But as you age, the stakes in gossip get higher and higher. In school, everyone is more or less immature and not expected to know any better.